Let's talk about a challenge that, well, pretty much every software team on the planet faces. How do you make your system faster and more flexible without, setting everything on fire? This whole explainer is about a goal-oriented way to think about microservices, one that puts your business needs firmly in the driver's seat, not just the tech trends.
And yeah, this is the big question, right? We all hear the buzzwords floating around: speed, safety, scale. But actually moving away from a big monolith can feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You either stay slow and steady, or you risk unleashing total chaos. So what's the strategic way forward?
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with a strategic approach. Then we'll dive deep into what I call the 3 architectural layers. After that, we'll look at a maturity model that can help guide your decisions, and we'll wrap it all up with the one key takeaway you need to remember. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, a strategic approach. And we're going to kick things off by challenging that common piece of advice you always hear: monolith first.
See, on one side, you've got that monolith first idea. The thinking basically goes, hey, we don't know where the service boundaries are yet, so let's just build one big thing and figure it out later. But a goal-oriented approach completely flips that on its head. It says, hold on, let's figure out our business goals first, things like speed and safety, and let those goals tell us where the boundaries should be from day one.
So how does this actually work in practice? I mean, how do you build an architecture based on goals? Well, it all comes down to thinking about your system in 3 distinct layers.
Which, of course, leads to the next question you're probably asking: what exactly are these layers? And more importantly, how do they build on each other to actually help us reach our goals? Let's break it down.
It's a progression, really, a 3-step journey. You start by making your architecture modularized. From there, you build on it to make it cohesive. And finally, you evolve the whole thing into a systematized architecture. Each of these steps unlocks some seriously powerful new benefits.
So let's start at the beginning, the modularized layer. Think of this as the absolute first step. It's a purely technical move. All you're doing is taking your application and breaking it into smaller chunks that can talk to each other over the network. We're not worried about getting the business logic perfect just yet. The only goal here is technical separation.
And just by doing this, you get some huge wins immediately. For speed, your services can now be deployed independently. You can even use completely different tech stacks for different services. And for safety, you can manage and test each piece in isolation, which drastically shrinks the blast radius if something ever goes wrong.
Now we build on top of that with the cohesive layer. This is where we go beyond just technical separation and start drawing the lines based on the logic of the business. You stop asking, what code is this? And you start asking, what business capability does this service own? That shift in thinking is absolutely crucial.
And the payoff for this is massive, especially for your organization. You can actually align teams to services, which just slashes dependencies and helps everyone move faster. Your services become easier to combine, and maybe most importantly, they become replaceable. And focusing on replaceability, not just maintenance, is the secret sauce for long-term efficiency and agility.
Okay, the final layer, the top of the pyramid, is systematized. At this point, you've got these well-defined, cohesive services. So now, you zoom out. The focus shifts from the individual parts to the system as a whole. It's all about designing the way your services interact and communicate to manage all that complexity and build a platform that's resilient and understandable, even at a massive scale.
The advantages you get here are just incredible. Your whole system actually becomes comprehensible. You gain this amazing agility to see how one tiny change might impact everything else. And for safety and scale, well, you finally unlock true high availability because you've deliberately designed how all these services will collaborate. And, just as importantly, how they'll fail gracefully.
So, we've got our 3 layers. That's the framework. Now, let's make it real. Let's turn this into a practical maturity model that you can actually use. Okay, so this is where the rubber meets the road. This framework is nice, but how does it actually help you make real-world decisions? How do you use it to prioritize what you work on, whether it's for speed or for safety?
And this is it, the microservice architecture maturity model. This is the tool that ties it all together. And it's actually really simple. First, you identify your primary goal. Is it speed or is it safety? Then you just look down that column. The model tells you exactly which architectural phase gives you the benefits you're after. Need to deploy faster? Focus on the modularized phase. Need that system-wide agility? Then your target is the systematized phase. Suddenly, you have a strategic roadmap.
And what's really powerful here is that you don't have to be systematized across the board for every single thing. The whole point is to be deliberate. Use this model to ask your team, what benefit do we need the most right now? And then you focus your efforts right there. This is what stops you from chasing microservices just for the tech and starts you on the path of doing it for the business.
We've covered a ton of ground, so let's bring it all home and focus on the single most important takeaway from all of this.
If you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, what should it be? What's the fundamental idea that ties this all together? It's this. This is the whole ballgame. Your architectural choices are not about technology, they are about the business. The most successful companies out there, they don't chase fast delivery just to say they're fast, they build systems that can move at the speed their business demands. Your architecture has to be a direct response to your business environment, period.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. Is your architecture designed for the business you have today, or is it built to evolve into what your business needs to become tomorrow? Answering that question, well, that's the very essence of goal-oriented architecture.
If you found this useful, do us a huge favor and like, share, and subscribe for more explainers just like this one, where we break down complex topics into clear, actionable insights. Thanks for watching.